Good morning, everyone. This is Ryan Gilgerson, lead creative at Company 119, and welcome to the 119th episode of the Coffee Cup. How exciting is that? Who would have thought when we started this little Facebook Live podcast that we'd do 119 episodes? We're very excited, and we had to find an exciting way to celebrate. So today, we start the first of a two-part series in our conversation with Michael Helbling. Michael Helbling is an analytics expert that works for Search Discovery, but he also hosts one of the digital marketing world's best podcasts, the Digital Analytics Power Hour, which merges his love for drinking whiskey and data into one exciting show, which he calls the most explicit show in analytics. So we had a lot of fun with him. We want to thank everybody for allowing us to get to the 119th episode, and we celebrate today with part one with Michael Helbling. We'll see you tomorrow for part two. Enjoy the episode. Good morning, everybody. This is Ryan Gilgerson, lead creative here at Company 119, and we want to welcome you once again to another episode of the Coffee Cup. Today, we've got a homecoming of sorts as we welcome an old friend of ours, Michael Helbling, to the show.
Pleasure to be here, Ryan.
Here. So your travel itinerary this week reads Atlanta, Cleveland, Chardon.
Yeah.
Really the meccas of data analytics.
You got to look at the must-see places in Northeast Ohio.
Absolutely.
Chardon's always got to make the list.
Well, we like to think of it as the crown jewel of Wilson Mills Road, right
there
here
you
in Company
go.
119. Well, we're glad you're here. You actually played a part in some of the foundation of 119, and we're here around the beginning of Company 119. What do you remember about the early days of our company's start?
Well, growing up and being friends with Christian and Nate, and just sort of like seeing them kind of going through some of the iterations of the growth of the company. Sure. I don't think I can claim any credit for anything or any of the success. You guys have done it all on your own, but as an observer from afar, it's always been cool to see this company flourish and all the growth you guys have had. It's pretty awesome.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Now, you wear a lot of hats. But the one that I like the best is the hat you wear as host of Digital Analytics Power Hour.
Oh yeah,
which is tell about the concept of what you do with your podcast. The most dangerous podcast in analytics, by the way.
Oh, most dangerous even now. So a couple friends and I started this podcast a little over 3 years ago, and what we were trying to do was replicate that feeling. When you go to like conference or a trade show and you're hanging out with all the people who are excited about and passionate about the same things you are in your space. For me, it's analytics and digital analytics, and so we wanted to replicate that feeling through kind of a bi-weekly podcast where we're sort of like, hey, we're all kind of sitting around in the lobby bar of this place, and we're just like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm trying to do this, and like have a conversation instead of kind of be more formal and try to push information. So
and it's really cool. You guys have your own. Everybody's got their favorite whiskey or libation that you have on What is your favorite?
Well, I go a lot of different directions, but American ryes and bourbons pretty good for me. So anything in that vein is I'm at least willing to try.
I like that. So people see that they're going to be on the podcast. They just kind of put them at ease immediately. They know they're going to have a good experience when they come through.
Yeah. I mean, it helps us too because we're just faking it. We don't know what we're doing.
Well, you guys are really entertaining. You just did your 100th episode. It'll be out hopefully next Tuesday. I
think that's right. Yes.
And that's on all digital platforms.
Yep. Right? iTunes, Spotify, I believe, any podcast app you use, you can download it from there.
Now, do you have to be heavy into analytics to enjoy the podcast? I mean, is a layperson going to enjoy the podcast, or is it really made for the industry?
Anyone can listen to it, and we've got listeners kind of that run the gamut. I would say for us, we're talking about topics that we care about, and so it's geared towards what I call the analyst. So we'll go deep into things like data science or managing your career in analytics or those kinds of things. But we run the gamut. I mean, testing, optimization, all the different things that are going on in our industry. We want to learn about. We want to talk to people who are experts in their field, and so that's where our guests come from. Is just folks we can pull out of the industry and have a conversation with.
You guys seem to have awesome guests every week, which is hard. How do you? I mean, 100 episodes in, that's a lot of guests that you've had come through to talk about analytics. How do you keep it fresh and keep people?
Well, Ryan, I was hoping to get tips from you today on how to keep things going.
Like I just
you guys
randomly call people. I randomly just scroll through and find people.
Yeah, no, it's a process, right? You know, I've been in the analytics space for about 15 years, and so over those years, I've had an opportunity to work with a lot of amazing people, get to meet a lot of people, get to know like kind of who are some, you know, really cool people in the industry, and those are the people we want to pull in and talk to. And then my two co-hosts, Tim and Mo, are doing the same things, and then we're also, you know, you get people pitched to you and those kinds of things as well. So that's some of it as well.
So one of the things, kind of piggybacking off the layperson checking out your podcast, on your last podcast, you talked about how technical a person has to be to be a good analyst, which I thought was really interesting. Like, how much do you need to know about other platforms to be able to be successful? What did you guys find out as you were talking about that?
Yeah, so, I mean, one of the things that sort of underpins everything we do in digital is there's a technical component. And I think the most important thing for people is not to be fearful of that, but to embrace it.
Right.
You know, and I'm not a technical guy by any means, but what I always tell people is I'll be as technical as I need to be to do what I need to do. And so, like, what I would say for, you know, anybody who's, you know, a regular watcher of this show, you know, you may not be a developer, you may not be able to go in and make websites or add analytics tags to pages, but you can experiment, you can test, you can drive a little further. There's a lot of amazing resources that are available now that weren't there 10 years ago. And so there's on-ramps to that. And you'll never regret having some of those skills if you take the time to build them up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So when you're not a viral sensation on the podcast...
I don't think we've ever gone viral. Yeah.
You have a day gig, as they say, as analytics practice lead at Search Discovery. One of the reasons why you've been going to Atlanta and Cleveland is that's where your primary offices are. Tell us a little bit about what you do as analytics practice lead.
Yeah, so my job sort of takes sort of up 6 components. So vision and strategy for us, talent development and hiring and management, client delivery, operational efficiency, new business development, solution development, and building out expertise. And so that kind of runs the gamut of a lot of different things. But basically, you know, my job is to put the best possible analytics team in place, make sure that we can deliver on what we're promising to our clients, and then really help drive the true value proposition of what analytics can do for a business. Because it's, you know, there's 2 steps to the process. First, you get some data, and then the next step in that process is you try to turn that data into value for your company. Right? And so that's our mission. That's kind of our purpose, right? Is like we want to drive clear business impact through that.
One of the things that I think is really cool about what you do, and kind of one of your tenets of your beliefs and what analytics can do, I think we get so caught up in analytics being conversions and sales. One of the things that you do is show analytics within the company to show how it can help employees and help the process within the company as well, which I think is really cool. I think people miss out on that. Yeah,
so we have a whole BI practice that we have grown over the last couple of years to really help. I mean, data persists and is evident in every space and every function of every company. Digital, sales, marketing, finance, HR, and there's analytics now behind all of those spaces. And so one of the big things, like if you go to any of the big conferences or hear the big industry leader types, like the CEO of Intel a couple years ago was talking about how much data we're going to start producing or already producing every day. But things like a self-driving car in the future will be producing like, you know, terabytes of data every single day. Just one. So, like, we are not going to have less data going forward. We're going to have a lot more.
Absolutely.
And so how do we get to a place where we're out in front of that as opposed to being crushed by it, right? In terms of, like, how we can leverage it and think about how to use it correctly, use it, you know, with good ethics and all those kinds of things. There's so many implications,